In this NIK Collection 7 Color Efex quick tutorial, I'm going to try out a preset called FOILAGE Bump. If you don't see where is FOILAGE Bump, which is basically, let me drag and drop an image first. So FOILAGE obviously kind of like a green scenario. So you need a photo that is full of kind of like a landscape, nature photos, or at least a lot of green stuff there, or green or multiple colors. So I have an image, plenty of image. One of them is my favorite, which is the photo taken in Taj Mahal. Here's the image. So you'll be wondering why I have two images, one on the top, one at the bottom. So that's the preview. So I have not used any preset yet. So they are both same. So now I'm going to click FOILAGE Bump. Where is it? It's on the left hand side. On the preset list. Let me see if I can. There you go. That's the one. I don't know if you can see it now. It is there. So I'm going to click that and zoom back. So you can see back and forth. Let me just zoom in and then show you next to each other. So that is the previous image. That is the image afterwards. So that's pretty straightforward, guys. Like, I quite like it. I really, really do. That being said, of course, you can always modify it, because the moment that you use a lot of preset, whatever preset, on the right hand side, generally, it will give you the option to modify the settings that has been used in order to create this look. Now you have the foliage, of course, but you can change it if you like with 1, 2, 3. Then you have the enhance, opacity, and you can locally use that locally. Now it's kind of like a global look, but you can use it locally, which is fantastic. Generally speaking, let's say in this case, I'm going to zoom back. And in Taj Mahal, generally, of course, the sky and the Taj Mahal itself or whatever else, are you might want to, have no impact of this foliage look, just at the bottom with all the green scenario. So in that case, obviously, you might want to use that local adjustment. Now moving on to the cross processing. So the cross processing is kind of works on the shadow and the highlight. So you have certain look on the shadow while certain look on the highlight. Generally, just to give you like a nice color contrast, which is beautiful to provide whatever look you have been looking for. Then of course you can play with the strength. Now what is the shadow and highlight slider? Let me show you the effect of it though. Let's zoom back. Now let's do all the way up. You see that it's kind of getting a little bit of faded. So it's kind of recovering shadow, of course. Highlight. So it's trying to recover highlights from the image. Of course, in this case, shadow and highlight, they're quite pretty much awesome. Then followed by, you have at the bottom the saturation and warmth. Warmth is, of course, the white balance, and the perpetual saturation. So what are the perpetual saturation? Now, remember, if you don't know each of them, like you have a question, in that case, you can go to help, click, and then you are more than welcome to click the user guide. Always useful. So I'm not getting into that. So saturation, we all know what is saturation is. So I'm going to go all the way up. It's boosting the saturation and highlight, saturation and brightness. However, though, if you use the perpetual saturation, which somehow it is, if you see at the image between the saturation and perpetual saturation, it does not impact the luminosity. It just boosting the color. So we can say that perpetual saturation is it is like the brilliance or color booster without impacting your luminosity. Then you have the pro contrast. I made a whole video on this particular part, the pro contrast, especially the correct contrast, dynamic contrast, to show you what is the dynamic contrast is. But I'm going to show you what is the color correct color cast and the correct contrast is. You have some kind of like a color cast here. You can clearly see it, right? Somehow kind of like a warm orangey look. So if I use that all the way up, you probably see that it's trying to balance the orange greenish tint over it, and then trying to balance it out. So you now have a nice separation, a really nice green at the bottom, but a little bit too much of a pinkish tone on the top. So probably somewhere in between would be ideal. Correct contrast. So what happens if you go all the way up? So it gives you a contrast, but not too much. Dynamic contrast is also more or less the same, but it's less strong. I think the shadow and highlight does the same thing as above that I showed you earlier. Why not try it out? I guess it has to do with the slider while you were using the correct contrast and dynamic contrast, because at this point I don't see any change. That's pretty much it. Then after that, of course, you can always go to the left hand side here and then always add stuff to create your own look. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you like this look. I hope you like this quick and nice tutorial. If so, please do like and subscribe. I'm offering 15% discount. Always awesome to get some discount. Why not? Life is short. Take care of yourself and bye bye.